Hi YouTube fam, long time no see. To any new faces, hello, my name is Hannah. I've had about a 7-month hiatus of YouTube, but I am back with a robot vacuum review. So this is the Dreame L10 Pro robot vacuum and mop. Now I love a good home appliance, especially cleaning related gadgets, and I have a little soft spot for reviewing them in some form across all of my socials. And I've actually had a robot vacuum on my bucket list for some time, but I will admit I was skeptical. I wasn't sure if they were gimmicky. We have pretty high needs when it comes to like our vacuuming requirements. We have vinyl plank flooring and we have 2 inside dogs. We are a shoes on inside type of household, and we also have a 7-month-old baby who is starting to crawl. So our house has a fair bit of foot traffic, whether it be us or the animals. So there's lots of dirt, dust, debris. One of our dogs sheds really badly. I also shed really badly, so there's lots of hair everywhere. So I just was never really sure if a robot vacuum would be able to do what it needs to do for us when it comes to vacuuming. So today though, I'm really excited to finally be putting one to the test. The Dreame Tech team was kind enough to send this out to me for review consideration. So we're going to get stuck into the nitty gritty. I'm going to tell you all the pros and cons, how I found it. And yeah, without further ado, I'll get stuck into it. And if you want to shop this, I'm going to leave all the details in the description box as well as a discount code. Okay, so let's start with what you actually receive inside the box. Well, first of all, it comes very compactly packed. So this is the box that it arrives in. I didn't even know it was a robot vacuum when it showed up on my doorstep because it's just so compact. I wasn't expecting that. So inside the box, you obviously get the actual robot vacuum. This little dusting attachment comes separately in the box. You get the water tank for the mop feature, which also has the mop pad attached to it. You get the charging dock and the charging cable, and I'm pretty sure that's about it. The actual filter and everything is already built in, as well as the dust tank. So it only has a really small charging dock, so it's not one of those robot vacuums that has like the dumping station. So the L10 Pro is actually app activated, which means you can control it from your smartphone or things like your tablets. It uses an app called Mi Home, M-I Home, and that app is actually compatible with a whole bunch of different smart related products and gadgets, not just Dreame Tech's products. So when you install the app, you just have to connect obviously the device to Wi-Fi and everything as well via your phone and get it all connected. That was really straightforward. I just followed the startup instructions in the actual brochure. Then you need to just map out the space that you want the robot vacuum to be able to vacuum in. And I also decided not to map out our laundry and our 2 bathrooms. The reason being is they are very small spaces, but they also have a lot of nook and crannies. So the actual robot vacuum will not be able to effectively vacuum in those spaces. Not to mention our wet spaces actually have a considerable step up into each area, about this big. So the robot vacuum isn't capable to climb level up like that. It will definitely go over rugs and things like that in your home and be able to go from like hard floor to carpet, but not if there's a decent step. So we just closed those areas off and we stuck to like the vinyl area. So after the L10 finished mapping out the entire house, I then went into the app and actually separated the different spaces. So this back part of my house that is our kitchen, dining and family room, I have as one zone. I then separated our second living area, our bedroom, the hallways and London's room, just so I can then program to do one space at a time. Like if I'm in one living room with London and she's playing on the floor, I can do a separate living area if that makes sense. It has incredible battery life though. It actually lasts for up to 2.5 hours, which is insane. To do all of our map space, it only takes about 1 hour and 15 minutes, and it still has like 50% charge when it's completed. So dividing the areas up has nothing to do with the battery life, it's just for convenience. So you definitely will be able to vacuum your entire house off one charge, which is incredible. And then once it finishes its actual vacuum of the house, it'll go straight back to the dock and connect itself to the charger as well. So it's super easy to use. Like I can be sitting down having a cup of tea and I can literally set it to go and clean the house. It's also very quiet, which is just a lifesaver because it means I can run it when London's asleep. She'll be sound asleep in her room and I can be vacuuming the rest of the house and it does not disturb her in the slightest. It also has different suction settings. So depending on your floor type, you can obviously change the suction setting to suit it. we just use standard. Standard seems to be working amazingly well for our floors. And then one little attachment that I think makes a huge difference is this little dusting attachment at the front of the robot vacuum. The reason this is so important is because as the vacuum is going along the outskirt perimeters of your house and along the skirting boards, it obviously is not going to brush completely up against those areas. So it has this little twirling dusting skirting feature which helps to collect any dust bunnies, dust and dirt that might be pressed up against your skirting boards. So vacuums that don't have that attachment are obviously going to miss that area, therefore not super effectively vacuuming your space. Not with the L10, because of that, it just gets all the dog hair and everything. I find Lily's dog hair, when she sheds, it tends to pull all along the side of the skirting board. So without this, I don't think it would work as well for us. So we definitely need that attachment. And if you're going to get a robot vacuum, make sure your robot vacuum has one of those attachments because it makes a huge difference. So the actual hazard detection on this, I find, is pretty elite. Like, it's really good. We've only had one problem, which was with an iPhone charging cable, which they're quite small, and I think what happened is the actual little dusting attachment just tried to suck it up, and I heard it when it was happening, so I managed to get to it before there was any problems. But if I've left like a set of shoes where they weren't before, or if the dog's getting away, even though it's already mapped the space, it notices the obstruction and it will go around it, which is just so great. It doesn't run into door frames or run into the walls or anything like that. Now the actual dustbin is super easy to get in and out of this vacuum, which is convenient because it is a smaller size, which means you do have to empty it more frequently. I typically empty it every 2 days, and I've been running this like every single day. So that's the size of the actual dustbin. Really easy to get in and out though, so it doesn't make emptying it much of a chore at all. I've been really surprised how well it suctions up dog hair too. Like, that's one of the things I was really concerned about. I was not sure if it was going to do a good job at it, but wait till you see like the contents from our first vacuum. Like, I only vacuumed 2 days before I got this in the mail, and the amount of dog hair it picked up was disgusting, to say the least, but I was very impressed. So you'll see an overlay of it now, just so you get an idea of how well the actual suction works. Now the actual roller attachment underneath, yet again, super easy to get in and out, which is another thing that's really important to me, because as I keep saying, the hair issue. If you have long hair or you have pets who shed a lot of hair, you know the hair gets really tightly, horribly wound around like all the mechanisms in vacuums. Like, there's nothing you can really do about it. You're always going to get a build-up of hair. At least with this, it's very easy to actually pop out the roller. You don't have to unscrew anything. I can't stand vacuums that you have to unscrew things, like little tiny screws, to get the actual rollers out, and makes it incredibly difficult, and it means I don't clean them as much as I should. This is so easy. You just flip it over, you pop it straight out so you can clean the hair out of it, and then pop it back in, and you're done. It takes literally like 5 minutes max. So you've heard me rave on about the vacuum features of this robot, but it is also a vacuum and mop. I haven't touched on the mop too much because for me personally, I feel like it is a little bit of a gimmicky add-on. So it does specifically say in the manual to not add detergents or floor cleaners to the water tank. For me, that defeats the purpose of cleaning my floors. If I'm going to clean my floors, I'm going to disinfect them with something. Even if it's cleaning vinegar, I need to use something because, as you've heard, we've got inside dogs, we wear shoes inside, and I also have a little baby who's starting to crawl. So I need to make sure the floors are cleaned properly. It does also specify that you need to make sure you have a solo vacuum of your floors before using the mop attachment. So you would have to allow it to vacuum your floors, then fill up the tank, and it suggests to wet the actual mop pad first, and then you can go on with the mop. It's not like the Crosswave mop vacuum, for example, from Bissell. That one you can just literally go straight in without having vacuumed anything and go straight into your floors. This you can't do that with. So that's just something to keep in mind. So personally, if you're looking at buying this, you'd be buying it, I feel like, primarily for the vacuum function, and the mop function is sort of like just a little gimmicky side add-on. If you were looking at this for primarily mopping purposes, I would not go down this path. I would select a different product, but when it comes to vacuuming, insanely amazing. So I feel like this really does excel on hard floors, whether you have laminate, timber or tiles. That's where it's going to do its best work. So if you're someone with a large hard floor area, you're literally going to lose your mind if you get a robot vacuum. Like, I'm telling you, I lost my mind. I couldn't believe that I have waited so long to get one. Like, I should have gotten one when I was pregnant and on bed rest. I should have gotten one when I had the C-section, because just how much effort and time would that saved me. Literally the floors didn't get vacuumed for like 2 weeks after my C-section, and I got to a point where I could just see the dog hair everywhere, and I nearly had a breakdown over it. So I was up after a C-section vacuuming my entire house like an idiot when I could have had this robot vacuum. It's just so great, and actually I was really pleasantly surprised how well it did on London's carpet. Now admittedly, we do only have a small carpeted area to try it out on, but what it looked like with the robot vacuum cleaning the carpet versus the stick vacuum was very similar. It picked up all the little bits of like fluff and random stuff that shows up on the dark carpet with no worries. You can up the suction if you feel like you need it on your carpets as well. I wish I had a little bit of a bigger carpeted area to test it out for you guys, but I do think based on that little room, it did do a really great job. But if you have hard floors especially, you need one. Like, you need one. It's so great. So all in all, I really rate it. Like I said in the intro, I'm going to leave some links in the description box for you guys. I've got the Dreame Tech website link with a discount code for you, and I'm also going to link the Amazon link for it as well. If you have any questions about the Dreame Tech or Dreame Bot L10 Pro, make sure you leave them below for me and I'll get back to you. If you found this video helpful, do give it a thumbs up for me, because that helps me out as well. And I'll be talking to you guys in the comment section, and hopefully in another YouTube video really soon. I'm not going to promise that I'm going to be back regularly, because mum life is like next level. So it's been a little bit hard to adjust, but I'm excited to have uploaded this video for you guys. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.